What is up, guys? Sonduren Canadian Rider. Today I'm going to be giving you my long-term ownership review of my Lexus IS250 with about 350,000 kilometers. You guys know I've owned this car for about 4 years now at this point, and I absolutely love it. It's got around 350,000 kilometers at this point. This is a 2009 model, and if you haven't already seen, I've done lots of videos on this car. If you haven't already checked out my channel, make sure you subscribe and make sure you like this video. But I wanted to give you another update on this car. We're hitting a big mark, 350,000 kilometers on the odometer coming up, and I wanted to talk about how it's been so far in my ownership experience. Honestly, I'm headed over to Ajax, Ontario, doing a nice long drive on this highway here, and honestly, this is something I keep talking about to everybody that I talk to about cars. If they're looking for a used car, there's honestly no better car than this car. I feel like this car is a reliable workhorse that I can go ahead and take on a road trip all the way from Toronto to Vancouver without any issue. With a lot of other cars with this type of mileage, I wouldn't probably think the same, but this is a unique case. I think Lexus and Toyota built a car that really will stand the test of time. And again, on the inside, it's still, while this is a 2009 car, it is still not really extremely dated in my opinion. And I think you having a magnetic phone holder here for your phone, where you can go ahead and just work with what you need, maps, whatever else that you may need, is all here. This is a wireless one, so it just simply connects just like that on my iPhone 13 Pro Max. And you have everything else you need. Like, that's your infotainment. You have a Bluetooth adapter. So in terms of entertainment on the car, I feel like I'm not missing much, honestly, compared to the newer cars out there. And I just did a review of the Hyundai Ioniq 5. That's their first electric car. And honestly, yeah, it's nice to have the touchscreen and all the new safety functionality and the features, great. But the phone can really augment for a lot of the core things that you want. You know, media, maps, all of that on your phone just here. So I don't feel like I lose out too much on that experience. And otherwise, if you're looking for a daily driver, this thing is a great daily driver, not only because of the reliability, right? Because you can also do all the maintenance yourself. I've also done videos where I do the oil change, I'm doing the spark plugs, I'm doing all the maintenance on this car on my own, by myself essentially. And it's really easy for anyone. If you just know how to do basics on working on a car, you can maintain the majority of this car by yourself, and it really doesn't need too much maintenance other than oil changes, the consumables, the maintenance, that type of stuff. It's pretty common. And even today, right now, I'm going out on this highway. It's a very comfortable drive. I love the seating position of this car. I love the look of this car. The interior still looks very handsome to me. The exterior, I think it's got a sporty look. I love the design. Obviously, I think this car has good storage. I don't think it has the most storage in the world, but that's okay. The trunk space is not bad. It's got rear seating that's very nice and comfortable. It's still a sporty car, so it's not a full, you know, comfort or luxury vehicle. It's that mixture of having a sporty car with a little bit of that Lexus luxury, which I really like. And again, this is the IS250, not all the power in the world, but you know, it'll get you to what you need to do. It'll overtake, it'll do those things, and it's quite reliable. Again, 347,000 kilometers, and quite honestly, I haven't had many issues with this car at all. There are some small nagging things that happens with a car that's this old. Some people report a sticky dash. Well, in Canada, I've never experienced a sticky dash. I do, if you can see that, have two dash cracks that have shown up here, one on this side and one on this side. But is that the end of the world? I would say the plastics on this car are starting to dry rot and age a little bit, especially around the windshield molding. But is that a big deal? Honestly, not really. You can go ahead and replace it if you want. I choose not to replace this. You can go ahead and replace this trim molding. I don't think that's too big of an issue. The seats are warmed, heated, and cooled, fully adjustable electric. You have the paddle shifters if you so choose to want to have a little bit of fun. Overall, I love this car. Yes, you're using it as a daily driver. This V6 will consume premium fuel. It is getting a little bit expensive with gas prices today. I think it's about $1.70, so $1.70 per liter in Canada for premium. So it can get expensive. We just filled this car up. I'm pretty sure it came up to $100. So yeah, it does get a little bit expensive. It's not the most fuel efficient in the world, but on the highway, I could probably get 12 liters per 100 kilometers. And in the city, it might get 13 liters per 100 kilometers. But overall, honestly, if you're looking for a daily driver, a fun, sporty car that still has storage and some luxury features, I don't know what better car you can get at this price point, right? And something that's not going to fall apart on you, and something that's actually reliable, and something that's good looking too. Like, this is a very beautiful looking car. It's a very handsome car, and I just love driving this car. The seats are very comfortable. Everything about this car I love. And you know, this car and my Lexus IS250 that I had, that I sold because I was barely driving that car with everything that's happening with COVID and working from home, I fell in love with the Lexus brand because of the quality, the attention to detail, the reliability of these cars. And that's one thing I think a lot of people want in a daily driver. Like, this isn't my, you know, my garage queen. If you follow me on the channel, I have my 2008 Audi R8, and that's my beautiful garage queen that I take care of, that I would never put this many kilometers on that car because I'm scared of what might happen. Thankfully, knock on wood, there's no wood here, but knock on something, that car has been reliable with just about 50,000 kilometers. But I don't want to imagine what it would be at 350,000 kilometers, where this thing, it's just a tank. It really is just a beast. You know, it's not completely everything roses, right? There are some issues with this car. The engine specifically, you need to make sure you change the oil with full synthetic oil every 6,000 or 8,000 kilometers. I know that seems a little bit excessive with synthetic, but this car does suffer from some sludge buildup potentially if you don't do consistent oil and filter changes. So you'll want to make sure you do that. But otherwise, this is also a fun car to like drive around and have some fun. I'm just on a highway, so you can't really have too much fun here, but really taking it on some twisty roads, it is a fun car to drive, right? It does feel sporty, and that's the other thing. Maybe it doesn't have all that power to be a sporty car, but it makes me feel like I'm in a sporty car, right? It makes me feel like the cockpit is nice and tight, nice and taut. I'm driving, I'm having fun. Suspension, fairly good. This is an older suspension now. I think my right side is starting to you know, bottom out, so I'm gonna have to replace those, but that's normal. The consumable stuff that you're gonna have to do with any car, even electric cars, you're gonna have to replace with this car, the consumables, right? But other than that, this car's been rock solid, bone solid, reliable. It's been able to do everything that we need it to do. We took this car out even on long road trips up north, and it was perfectly fine. But I could easily take this to Vancouver. It would just be a blast. Otherwise, love it with the automatic transmission again, with the infotainment through your phone. You basically have everything you need. Everything's adjustable. But yeah, if you guys own this car, let me know what you think. But lots of my experience with this car has been positive. I think anyone that's looking for this car is going to get positive feedback from potential owners. There are things that you just have to make sure you're aware of when you're buying this car. So just like any other car, make sure it hasn't been in an accident. Make sure it's been kept up with its maintenance, especially for the IS250 model. Make sure there's a history of oil changes. Make sure you're using full synthetic oil. If you had a choice between the Lexus IS250 or the Lexus IS350, you'll want to get the Lexus IS350. I'll always recommend that. If you can get the 350, go for that. More powerful engine, and you don't have to deal with the engine sludging issues. So those are two things that you need to be aware of on that. Otherwise, I just did the headlight replacement. I replaced the low beam headlights. That was very easy. If you haven't seen that video, I'll also link it in the card above. Basically, on this channel, I've done all the maintenance on this car. So if you're interested, again, make sure you subscribe, check out the videos. I think you'll find them informative and interesting. But my plan is, regardless, we may be getting a new car in the future. My plan is to continue driving this car. I want to see if it can hit 500,000 kilometers. That's the goal. Let's see how far it can go. I personally think this is probably going to last the lifetime, like of my lifetime. I don't see how this is going to break down anytime in the future. And the reason I say that is because the engine is just rock solid. The transmission is rock solid, right? Pedal to the floor. It just goes. And trust me, I do this all the time. I'm not just showing you for the video. Engine's rock solid. You're at idle, rock solid. Transmission shifting, perfectly fine. And it's always like that. Now, with a direct injected engine like this, where it's not dual injected with port injection and direct injection, you actually do want to run it hot. You do want to run the engine hard every once in a while to clean up the valves from any carbon buildup potentially. I had the same issue on my 2008 Audi R8. These engines, the newer ones where direct injection kind of recently came out in 2009, they didn't have the dual injection. So they suffered from some of that carbon buildup. So every once in a while, you just want to, you know, hit that red line, give it a little bit of that juice that she has, and pick up speed. So you just want to do that every once in a while. But let me know your thoughts. If you're a Lexus IS250 or Lexus IS350 owner, leave your comments down below. Leave your perspective and your experience with this car. I know a lot of people are looking for this car, so I want to call out on all of you to share your experience. For people that may be looking to pick up one of these machines made by Lexus, and one of the most reliable cars I think they've ever made in their lineup, and a very beautiful, classy car that, you know, isn't completely timeless. It is showing its age a little bit, but it still looks really good. Like, come on, look at this cockpit. Look at the exterior of this car. I think it's a very beautiful car. If you have any questions, let me know. Leave them in the comment box down below. Again, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. We'll continue. Let's see. Will I get to 500,000 kilometers? I want you guys to tell me. Let's take some bets on this. I think I will. We'll see what happens in a couple years. See you guys in the next one.